You are listening to the voice of Kurdish American Radio for democracy, peace, and freedom.
Psychiatrist and author of Mother of the Pound, Dr. David Kazzaz, a native of Iraq, pursued his medical studies in Beirut in the 1940s and emigrated to the United States in 1954, settling in Denver, Colorado. He was senior associate at the Institute for the Study of Israel in the Middle East in the Josef Korbel School of International Studies at the University of Denver. His life experiences extend from the post-World War I period through the post-September 11 era. He offers a unique perspective on the causes behind the rampant brutality witnessed across the globe today, be it suicide bombing in the Middle East, genocide wars in Africa, or terrorist strike on American shores. In May 2014, I traveled to Denver to revisit Dr. Kazzaz and interview him on his philosophy and activities for peace in the Middle East. He advocates the Women Leading Life movement and provides a set of life-affirming strategies that can be implemented among any segment of a population in any nation on earth.
I was born in Baghdad, and I trace my roots for thousands of years in that area in Baghdad, and in a very rich culture. And we have the most close, loving, and caring family structure, the extended family. The whole community is that of the people that I'm part of. So. A plus is that in traditionally, actually, education is a major emphasis for human life. The children from young age, the emphasis is on education. So that's the environment I was born in.
How do you relate it with Kurds? How did you come out with some project with Kurdish people? So would you please explain me any correlation between your work, your projects, and Kurdish people?
Yeah. Well, essentially, I consider myself as a humanitarian, and I also has decided that I will do things without looking for monetary or even other kind of rewards. I'm not looking to be appointed in any major position. I'm not looking for power, and I just want to give. So for a humanitarian reason, I was actually approached by one of the leaders who was the head of the Kurdish National Congress in the United States. His name is Sama Shali. He got my name from somebody else and wanted to have my ideas, my advice about the problem that they're facing. Now, I was born in Iraq, and I knew about the Kurdish people, and we used to go to Kurdistan in the summer because of the shaklava and the weather there and the hospitable people. And from my childhood, I always thought that it was a total unfairness, on even cruelty to a total people. These are people that have been in one area in the world for maybe even thousands of years. They have their culture, they have their language, they have their race, and they have their land. And they are dominated by one group of the other over the ages. And after World War I, they got their area divided by 4 countries: Iraq, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. And and some are also on top of that, they are very diligent people. They are, and I also think that people who live in the mountains, they tend to be of that nature, being diligent and energetic and productive kind of thing. But they were oppressed and they were taking advantage of. They have resources, for example, in terms of oil, and that's sucked of their blood and used by the country. So that was that kind of motivation. And I thought that I would give the fruit of my mind in terms of advice for policy and things of what they want to do. By the way, one of my advice was that very early I said to the person, to Charlie, who was giving my advice to the leadership, I said to him, make sure that you could put all of your energy to establish the infrastructure for a country. Don't wait until somebody gives it to you. Develop your roads, develop your schools, develop your hotels, develop your culture, develop the streets, everything that a community would need. Develop it and live as if you are free. And whatever freedom you have, use it. And I didn't say that, but my thinking also. You have the oil there. They are still controlling it, but if you could get some of that and still sell it and use that money to develop the country, do that. And because it's all entangled in political thing, Iraq doesn't want them, Turkey doesn't do that, and all that kind of thing. So that's what motivated me to do that. And then when I started the women movement, then I thought that this is the one place that I could take that energy and that project into, and they were very, very hospitable and very friendly and very accepting, and I'm humble, but I can tell you that they really all the leadership treated me like a king. And I don't know, I would be walking and see people coming to me and say, so we want to ask you, I didn't know what they knew about me. And so I was really very grateful to that, and also back into my own philosophy in that people are enjoying the thing that I'm able to give, whatever I can give.
Dr. Kazzaz, I can see something very interesting. I would like you to talk about your personal interests and let me know what it is and what you do with that.
Yeah, one of the things that I'd like to do is I like music. And actually in my own family, each one of my sons play different instruments. So we grew up with that. And I grew up in Baghdad. In Baghdad, we had an instrument, a drum called the dumbuk. It's similar to this, except the original thing in Baghdad, it's a very common instrument, and it's very cheap, you could buy it very easily. It's made of clay. This is metal. So instead of metal, it's in clay, and they have the sheepskin, and they paste it on that. And that's very cheap. So every house has this, they call it dumbuk.
Oh,
dumbuk. So that's what it is. And so when I grew up, I never even dared to play it. When we have singing at home or something, others were better players than me. I came to Denver, and I was the only person here to play it. And we had some friends that they played some other instruments and could be accompanied with this dambuk, and I became the expert in Denver of a dambuk player. Actually, my family wanted to celebrate my birthday recently, and so they had a big party, and they asked me what would be the central theme. You know, they usually have in the table a theme, occasions like that. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what my theme is. My life is like a table, stands on 4 legs. Now, one leg is the sound body. And by the way, my daughter-in-law developed this sketch, these things. So that's the thing that would symbolize the body, and that's the other side of it. And then the other side is the action of the brain. I want my brain to be active all the time. Otherwise, I will be retired and withdrawn. So that the other symbol, which is the brain and the activity. And the third one is the companionship, the heart. And it's very important to me to have a close companionship in my life. And after my wife died, that leg is missing. The fourth one is the spirit, and I think that it's important to me, and I feel also for everybody. Was exposed early to the idea that regardless of what happened in the environment, if the person feels inside your heart that you are a free person, then you can be creative. I believe also, I'm a psychiatrist, and I believe that every human being have creative ability in them, and that creative ability really cannot come out if inside I feel I'm oppressed. I can't think, I can't do anything, I'm helpless, I'm poor, whatever kind of thing. Even if there is political oppression in the country. And that really kills the creative ability of the person. So, since childhood, I always felt that I'm free. And regardless of what's going on around me, I mean, I grew up during World War II. There was twice that there was a huge danger to life. The Germans, for example, had instigated a pro-Nazi coup in Baghdad, and that coup was turned around, and if the Germans would have been at that time, and you know what happened in Europe could have happened in Iraq, and what happened to the people in the area. Again, also during that time, then I went to study in Beirut at the American University. American University is the most beautiful place in the world.
Beirut?
It is not only the location, and that's a beautiful area around on the sea and things like that, but the whole environment. It completely brought a new world to me when I was there, and it was during the war, and the Germans were close to occupying Egypt in Al Alamein, and I was there studying medicine in Beirut when this was going on. It didn't affect me. I mean, I still don't understand why. There was danger. I mean, I knew that. The news wasn't hidden from us. And I was right in Beirut in that, and we got all the information. I just continued with my studies. I just had a belief, maybe, I don't know. Somebody told me, because I'm not reflective enough to understand myself. They said that I know how to live in the moment. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's one thing that I want to have other people to understand the meaning of it. The moment, let me give an example. I was in Beirut, right? I was in the medical school, and I had a mission. I want to be a doctor. And for my future, and having a family, and having a profession, and so that was my goal, and I know, and that was important every day. I have to prepare for an exam. I have to prepare for this, and then I knew what's happening in Egypt and in the war. If I let that to dominate my thinking, then I won't be able to proceed in life. So apparently I had that quality, thanks God, and I was able to use that, and then it allowed me to develop myself. I was many times in my life in an occasion that I didn't know if the next step is going to be there for me. I'll give you one example. When I went to medical school in Beirut, my father had enough money to pay for one semester of my fees. And I didn't know whether he will have money for me to continue. But I never thought about that. So that's what I mean by living in the moment. So that happened a number of times. I took some steps, and then I continue with that. I never look backward. I never say, okay, maybe I should have gone that way. And I never look like what's the alternative, what's plan B. I never had plan B. I go on the plan A, and if I have obstacle, I try to overcome them. And that's how I've done that. And I found that very helpful to me, and I'd like to pass that on to other people to do that. So I ended up, then years passed, and I ended up in the United States. I practiced psychiatry, and then finally I decided that there's so many lessons that could be learned from my life, and what I learned, and what I learned about the culture and about the history, and decided to write a book about it. And
this is your book,
this
right?
Is the book.
Mother of the Pound.
Mother of the Pound.
Why you called it Mother of the Pound?
I wrote this book as kind of autobiographical, but the reason why I did that is that I wanted to bring the culture and the life of my time and my environment. And so I thought, instead of write a dry history book, so I'd take you to a home, I'd introduce you to people, and tell you how they live their life. So I did that. So in the process of that, then I got married to a person that happened to have a heroic role in Iraq, and very dangerous, similar to the Rosa Parks kind of role, to and more dangerous than that, and it succeeded. And I also thought that in history, women roles are overlooked. So since I'm doing that autobiographical, so in part of that role, she was given the nickname of Mother of the Pound. Mother is like the owner of the English pound, the gold pound that she had, she carried on, which was the symbol of her engagement to me, actually. And so I put the title of the book to recognize a woman, at least one woman in history that had a historical role, and And that was just a little bit that I could do for the women in general, and of course for the woman that I love.
Dr. Kazzaz, would you please explain about your involvement with women movements? And we had a mutual projects. Briefly talk about it, please.
Yeah, it was all part of my original thing of consulting with the Kurdish leadership. I am through the Denver University International School of International Studies, Josef Korbel School of International Studies in Denver. I was instrumental in inviting the Minister of Higher Education to come to the university and to tell us about what they have been doing, which is remarkable with that. And in the process, when he was here, I thought that I want to bring the project for women. At that time it's called World Women for Life, into Kurdistan. And we were able to connect with two major individuals. One is you, Soraya, and the other was Sharon Lindsay. And I prevailed on you to start the organization of the women. And since the minister was here and he had good relationship with me, I prevailed on him to invite us, arrange for an evening here that I invited lots of activists, very, very nice people. I was really hugely honored to have them come to the meeting, and you and Sharon gave a talk about the organization and where we wanted to go, and we had a press release. We invited people from the one of the television station. I don't remember, maybe Channel 4 or 7. They came here and recorded that, and put the whole structure in, and that was the basis that we got the whole group to go to Kurdistan. And we were invited again, as I said, by the Minister of Education, and we were hosted, and all kind of meetings and conferences, and I gave lectures at the universities, and the group went and visited all kind of places, and a huge program with that, with the cooperation of everybody concerned, with lots of NGOs came to work with us. I mean, it was really remarkable to see something like that happen. I went to Kurdistan, and the couple of the leaders with me was Soraya Fallah and Sharon Lindsay. But Soraya was really very much in the center of things and being part of that culture and that people. And in addition to the connection with the language, but also a connection with the people. We spent a considerable amount of time and having projects with the universities, giving lectures, and we had a conference that involved the all different kind of NGOs and representative of the various elements of the government actually came in that, and they were very generous and very receptive in responding to what we were trying to accomplish in there. And I was very impressed by the people. And as a matter of fact, I found out that the Kurdish people on their own have a culture of life in their blood. And for the first time I learned, I met with the Minister of Health, who is a doctor himself, and he asked me, he said, well, you know, at the beginning of the war, the Americans wanted to come from Turkey, and Turkey refused. What happened? I said, no, I don't. He said, we liberated the north of Iraq, and America did not lose a single soldier in there. And then he said to me something amazing. He said I don't remember the exact number, he said 100,000 troops surrendered to us, Iraqi troops, with their generals. And he said some of those generals took part in the gassing of Halabja. He said, we didn't punish them, we didn't keep them as prisoners of war, we wanted them to go back. But that was early in the war, and Saddam Hussein would have killed them if they go, because they surrendered to the Kurds, they didn't fight, so to speak. So they begged us to keep them here. Said we built tents for them, and the Kurdish families start cooking and giving food to those soldiers that before that were oppressing them. So no revenge. And this is the typical culture of life. Now this is a country that was under oppression, and they had an underground fighting. They never resorted to killing innocent people. They never resorted to terrorism. And then when they have a chance to revenge, they didn't take that. And actually it's part of their culture is to seek revenge. And they didn't do that. It's a remarkable thing that I found out, and that should be an example for the whole world.